Okay, well, I'm talking with Hector Verdugo. And just to catch everybody up, cool. Hector is Associate Director at Homeboy Industries, which is recently become my favorite organization that I've ever been in because they actually make a difference. There's not ego walking in. There is people that are doing this to make a difference in the world, whether you're patting them on the back or not patting them on the back. That's what they're doing. But Hector's been through a lot before he got to there. I love this. He's been jumped, shot at, and had axes thrown at his face. And he's completely transformed his life and the life of others. And he's just a healer by nature. You feel it when you're in the room with him. He's working. We'll talk about Homeboy's Industry and just the feeling that I walked into and then walked away with just a few months ago, not that long. I've stalked him ever since, been promised a ride on the back of his motorcycle because I actually hate motorcycles. I don't feel safe. But he's been in the Mayans, and you have to really know how to ride to be on that show. Come on.
Yeah, nay.
Come on.
There's some good riders on there and stuff, but there's some guys that never rode before.
The actors don't ride.
Some of them do, and some of them, are getting into it, and then, and some of them are riders.
I'm going to ride on the back of the bike, smoking.
You do your thing.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, enjoy yourself.
Can't wait. I'll feel safe, but
that's right.
That's Hector. And I've been trying to get him here since I met him. And we do outside of aliens, and we always get sidetracked. So first I want to ask, we went to lunch at the Rainbow Room.
Yep.
Who was that person? Remember that guy?
So that was Frankie Loyal.
Okay.
Big guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, we went and ate there. I was like, I can't remember that person, but it was a good
Frankie
lunch.
Loyal's a good guy too, man. He's one of the original writers. I learned from him the first day I was on, at the Mayans. I was background, but they gave me like this, I was a vice president. I'm the vice president of this chapter. Everybody died around us. We're the only ones going. They're giving me lines now. I'm like, oh shit, I'm acting. This is crazy, But he comes from the biker world, and he kind of like, hey, pulled me aside, which I really, really appreciate. Someone just kind of saying like, hey, bro, because you're the VP, and then he started giving me some schooling, and I was like, thank you, dog. Thanks for telling me that, and that helps me get my mind right into the character.
Right.
We were just pulled. Thankfully, I'm so happy and honored to be a part of an awesome show that I'm a total fan of. I was a fan of Sons of Anarchy, and I loved seeing, the Mayans on Son of Anarchy with Emilio Rivera, and then this show popped up. It was a spinoff, and my friends are on it, Richard Cabral and Joey Ray Lucero, and then they got me on the show, and as a background, and I was just honored to be a part of that, and it's been growing. Just a small part, but now I got SAG. You know what I mean?
You did.
You're a SAG member, and now you got a line, and now you're taking acting classes, and you have to understand character. And I was like, oh, all right, let's do this.
That's great.
Yeah, man.
What was your first line?
It was the first episode of season 2. There was a bridge scene, and we're the main cast belongs to the Santo Padre Mayans. That's like a clique off the Mayans MC, Santo Padre. And I'm a part of Yuma along with other dudes from different chapters of the Mayans. We're kind of going against the Santo Padre chapter. And we're catching them in lies and stuff. And then my line was something about, like, I know what you guys did with. So it took about a good 15 to 20 takes. And then finally, in those 15 to 20 takes, while the camera was not on me, but I still had to say my line, it sank in a little better. And I was able to, because this is my first line, I was nervous.
It's got to be so hard, right?
Like, and then I put, like, I want to make it sound hard. And then next thing you know, the adrenaline went through my body, and I forgot what I was supposed to say. Like, but so by the time I got to say it, I said it. And I think the first AD was like, this is Hector Verdugo's first line, and all the guys clapped and stuff. Yeah, I thought that was, hey, that's pretty cool, man, that you guys would do that. It was a great, that I talked to other actors and they're like, hey, man, this crew right here, being on the Mayans, is one of the best places I've ever worked. And it's just professional and it's friendly. And the guys, the main actors, as a background guy, they welcome you like, hey, man, welcome, man. And I thought that was really cool. And they're not snotty and noses up in the air. And I said, hey, man, this is really, really cool.
I love it.
I love that.
I like the authenticity of the shows.
Yeah.
Like bringing in folks that have really lived it. And no, I learned more watching Sons of Anarchy to understand kind of how gangs really do work and communicate. I think when we first met, I said, I watched Gangland and they showed an organizational chart, just like you were saying in the Yumas, and they have all these chapters. I mean, real gangs that are nationwide, they really are organized organizations that have great communications and, they have ways to pass on. At least that's what I thought when I watched Sons of Anarchy. It was the most insight almost to what real life might be like in a gang, motorcycle gang.
Yeah, motorcycle gang, motorcycle. And I've never was from, an MC. And, but it's just from the outside looking in, they have a different structure, a little more, you could say military type structure, I guess. I don't want to speak too much on it because I don't know it.
But it is structured. That's
with them it is structured, but I wouldn't put that all on because I come from a gang, and yeah, there's a certain kind of a structure, but it's also as I know, and it's trying to become structured, but there's a discipline on one end and a non-discipline on another end. We're brothers that are just hurt people. And within that hurt group, and usually of men, there's men and women, but I'm going to speak on the men part, is when you got people who've been done wrong by their most, the most
parents.
Yeah, loved, supposedly what should love or should be coming from your parents, and you're loved and you're done wrong in those. So you come into a structure where like attracts like. You're from Boyle Heights. There's all these gangs in South Central and the West Side, and so we, as the structure inside my neighborhood was, you learn about going to juvenile hall before you go to juvenile hall. You learn about prison before you go to prison, and then you follow up on it.
There's so much.
Yeah.
We have created a world where people are trained of what to expect when they get in trouble, as if they can't live a life where they won't.
So just to give you a background in my upbringing, and I'm not like boo-hoo story. This is poor me type stuff, but this is what happened. My father died from a heroin overdose before my twin brother and I were born, a week before we were born. So he's out. Mom's was a heroin addict until I was an adult. So you take away that structure of guidance and, mental nutrition and love and that builds security in myself and everything. I knew it wasn't me. I knew it was just her.
When you're a kid, though, you don't.
Of course.
When you get older, you can look back.
You paint the picture
right.
of, well, fuck it then. If nobody cares and nobody didn't, there was caring, but there wasn't really the what we needed. And so if you're not, and all my aunts and uncles, her brothers and sisters are also on drugs, no one gives a fuck. If nobody gives a fuck, then I need to take control. Because I'm going to, I'm not going to starve, Right. I'm not going to be the one who's going to walk around and deal with society with fucked up clothes and all that stuff. I'm going to make the best of with what I got. And so you do. We went out. I started drug dealing as a young guy, learned the ropes as best I could.
What were you dealing?
In the beginning, it was cannabis, and then...
That's not a drug. But I got you. It was
at the
illegal.
time it was. Shit.
Yeah, it was. Well, it was considered. It's still not. But
Yeah, we can get in that story later on.
I get so mad about
And
that
then
story.
crack, PCP is a big one that I used to sell when I was a kid.
Okay, this is going to be, what is PCP?
PCP is a liquid form of from what I can't pronounce the scientific name of it, what it is, but they say it's like an elephant tranquilizer.
Oh,
You
really?
dip your cigarette or your joint in it. Just barely touch it. It sucks into your cigarette. You blow it down. Then you put a couple zags over your cigarette and light it up. You can't just light it up with a lighter because it's very flammable. So you have to know how to do it if you do it that way. So you light it up, take a few tokes of it, and it just does this. You're instantly drunk out of your ass.
Really?
Yeah, and so then all kind of things happen.
And is it addictive?
For some people, I see it's very addictive, and I always wondered about that. Like why is? Because I smoked it, and I was like, how?
I've never even seen it. I didn't know if it was powder. I've never known.
Yeah. It's liquid, and they have the powder form. I think it's called KJ, but whatever. We never dealt with that. And there's all kind of reactions. So the funny reactions are people getting naked. They take off their clothes.
Really?
And then they just start running around. So we always had a show in the projects, like just women, men, and you're just like looking at people like, what the fuck, Now, now as a father, you look at your kids and you're like, fuck.
You were supporting yourself. I mean,
That was me? Like at that age, you know what I was doing? So coming from, my cousins and I sleep in the front room like sardines. And just like, fuck, get up, get out of this house, like ASAP, And where do you go? You go hang out with the kids that are my age, and they're probably from the neighborhood, as I was from the neighborhood. Well, they were from the neighborhood.
and we're all looking for trouble at 12 and 13.
Right.
Like,
And
we're
you're
not
just
making
well,
good
let's-
decisions. Right?
Yeah, let's just go get into something. Let's do something. And we got to, money's always on your mind. It's like, how do we make money, dude? We go break into factories, steal cars. I stole cars just for the thrill of stealing cars, but I didn't make money. If I would have known how to, take them.
You just stole them for a joyride?
Yeah, just to learn how to drive, and to go and gangbang against other barrios and stuff like that. So, that's what you do, and then you get busted. I did a carjacking. I even got busted a couple times before that, but the one that kept me in there was a carjacking at the nearby USC Medical. It's right over Soto Street and by the hospital, and you see people, and you figure, you know what, I'm gonna take this dude's car. Boom, put a gun on him, take his car.
That's not funny. Okay,
in
cancel culture me, but
yeah, of course.
but
it's
like
not
in
fun.
your
It's
head,
so
right?
bad.
You're like a teenager.
It's
So when you
teenager,
think of a teenager, it's exactly
Right.
what you do. Like, I'm gonna take this dude's car.
Right. And there's
Fearless.
no thinking. I knew that I was not gonna hurt anybody. So it's like
Yeah, you're literally taking his car.
yeah, and you just scare the shit out of them with a gun. Get off your car, leave your keys. I remember this guy said, can I just get my stuff? And I said, get your stuff. Let me see what it is first.
What is that?
It was all paperwork and this stuff. I said, take it, dog. I ain't worried about this. I just want to ride. And then I remember jumping in this car, right? I was like, fuck, I already put the gun on him. I've already jumped in his car. He's running. He's going to go call the cops, obviously. And this car was stick. And I was like, shit, I don't know how to drive stick.
Oh, no.
What do I do? Do I leave? I was like, no, man, I've already been this far. Might as well grind this shit out. So I jumped in and I got out of that street. And then I said, let me take it to the projects and someone would teach me how to drive. But I had to cross Soto Street, which is the main artery into Boyle Heights, into El Sereno. And I said, let me just, all right, boom, boom. I remember I was on this car and I'm going to cross Soto Street. And, okay, ready, red light, green, go. And I did and I was going, that jerking
Yeah,
motion.
it's hard
And
as
I
hell
was
to
like,
drive a stick.
oh, shit. And then I looked to the right of me, and it was a cop looking right at me. I didn't notice there was a cop right there. And he's like, he just put his hands up like, what the fuck are you doing, And I just said, oh, shit. So he comes behind me, I didn't run. he was by himself. I should have just ran. I should have got off and ran, but it was like seconds.
Right.
I guess he was he was somebody.
Scary to run.
And, he had cops surrounded me fast. They took me out. They beat the shit out of me. They put me.
How old were you?
I was 14. They handcuffed me behind my back, and then they grabbed my feet, handcuffed my ankle, cuffed them, and then they
Like
called a hog
hog-tied
tie.
you?
They hog tied me. I'm like, fuck, why are you guys
Just a
hog tied? I
little
was not even on
kid.
drugs, you know? Yeah, and I was a little kid. Then I remember them hitting me in the nuts, and then just picking me up like a suitcase and throwing me in the back seat of the car. They're all laughing. I was so scared that I was gonna get a cramp. I was thinking, fuck, if I get a cramp, this is gonna be scary, you know? And I went to juvenile hall, and they kept me. So, you know, then they kept me. So then everything, all the teachings had come to me is like, get ready. We're gonna fight our way in and fight our way out.
And then how many times did you hit juvenile hall?
I would say probably a total of 6 or 7 times, maybe. You know, not too much.
It's
you know,
4 years.
and it's not too much, and you know, some of it was not even crime anymore. It was just nobody wanted us,
Getting
my
you off
brother
the
and I.
street.
Yeah, it was just like, okay, they need to send me to a foster home or placement.
Did you do that?
And I went once, and you know, I don't know what age I was, but I remember going to a foster home. My twin brother and I going to a foster home. It's called a soda bed. They don't use that term anymore. So it's like a foster home. You go with a or not a family, but we went with this lady. And the lady, and my brother and I, you know, we grew up the way we grew up, and we say our
Right.
prayers before we eat, and you know, we respect people and stuff. And I remember being in this lady's house with our social worker, and it was a beautiful house. I loved the flowers all around. I could see it, and the social worker was there, and the lady served us lovingly, you know, food, hot food. And I remember like me and my brother like oh shit, we were hungry, we were eating. Oh no, I remember we prayed before we ate, and then we started eating, and they were like, oh my God, that's so cute, the social worker, and then the lady of the owner of the house. And they were like, who taught you to do that? I guess they thought we were animals or whatever. And I'm like, dude, we pray before we eat. Leave us alone. You know what I mean? Like, shit. And then, I remember just looking at the social worker lady, and she says, like, I think you guys are going to be good here. And I was just like, yeah, man, this is cool. A home, meals,
Food.
you know what I mean? Like, beautiful. I see a yard back there. I can see the yard back there. And I'm like, oh, yeah, we hit gold on this one, you know?
Yeah.
And then I remember seeing the social worker walk out. I seen her go to a car because I see through the window. She gets in her car and leaves. And then the lady looks back at me, looks back at my brother and I. She goes, now you listen here. And I remember looking up like, oh shit.
No.
And she says, you fucking boys, you're going to stay in this damn room? You ain't going to make a peep? And I just looked at my brother and said, fuck, what do we do? Do we run? Like what do we do? But we don't know where we're at. We never been out of the projects. Like we've been around the projects, but we don't know where we're at. And I remember we just like stopped eating and we looked at each other, and we were just in shock of the contrast of what she had portrayed in front of the social worker and what she really was. And it really it sucked the energy, anything of joy, anything of happiness, of content, to be like, hey man, at least someone's here to help, you know? That's kind of fucking cool.
Right.
You know? I remember just being defeated. I remember going into that room and she locked the door from the outside.
What?
And I looked at my brother and he was so fucking mad. I remember him like, give me something. Because there was these little writings on the walls of barrios, you know? And I remember my brother he picked up some metal thing and just carved with all his might. And I was looking at him do it. I could see the anger and I felt it too. And he put our names, our plaquiazos and our barrio. And then I remember we just kind of laid down, and I remember there was these twin beds, and we kind of put them together so we could kind of just be close to each other.
Right.
And I remember like, it was just so fucked up, you know, that we thought we hit gold and we really hit hell, you know. And I don't know what we did. We must have did some fucking crazy thing in there. and they called the lady to come back. And so she says, okay, this didn't work out. So she took us back to Central Juvenile Hall, which is right down the street from my neighborhood. Because we weren't in custody, so we weren't in handcuffs. So they had us in a hallway, you know. And then
they just dropped you off there?
Well, no, they didn't. They were going to take us to it. They were going to actually admit us back into Juvenile Hall behind the wall. And then they said, look, we're probably going to put you in Juvenile Hall for a few days until we find another place. And we just like, okay. And you know, I mean, me and my brother have this little, you know, we got something special.
You're twins.
Yeah. We just kind of looked at each other and kept our innocent faces like, sure, we'll go to Juvenile Hall right now. I'll be right back. Let me go get the, okay. You know, like, they're just going to leave us here in the fucking hallway.
Finally.
You think we're good? You know what I mean? And then as soon as she turned around, we both looked at each other and boom, we booked. We ran out of that fucking hallway. We ran up the street. Once we got into Hazard Park, we were laughing and you know what I mean? I was like, I remember saying to my brother, I could feel the power coming back to me. Like, you know what I mean? Just being like fucking people, you know? Like, you know, anyways.
Another disappointment.
Totally. And then from there, I remember we went into the projects. And then we went into the projects. We basically escaped. We said, we escaped Juvenile Hall. I remember we were all happy and shit. And then they said, hey, have we seen your mom right there? So we went over there. I went like, what's up, Mom? And, you know, she was with, you know, a couple of the older guys right there.
It was your mom?
It was my mom.
You ran and found your mom
We
by
found
chance?
my mom. She was in the projects, right?
Wow.
You know, and so we're like, what's up, Mom? We just broke out of Juvenile Hall. And she like, hey, she was kind of surprised, you know. And then, you know, we felt proud. I was proud. Like, we just fucking ran out of Juvenile Hall, man. They were going to keep us, you know what I mean? And we ran out. And my older homeboys are right there. And then, you know, I mean, like, I look at my twin brother, and my twin brother, he's smarter than me. He just caught it. And he just, I'm gone. And he jammed. But I kind of wanted to, you know, stay in the moment of, we just broke out of Juvenile Hall, even though it wasn't really a breakout. And then I look at my mom, and look at my homeboys, and I realized why my brother left. We just interrupted them gonna slam heroin. And I felt so fucking embarrassed. Like, it was like, scram, kid, get out of here. You know what I mean? You're bothering us, you know?
Right.
And I just like, fuck. How come my brother didn't give me a bump?
Yeah, you have a thing.
Yeah, you know, what happened to the fucking telepathy powers? You know what I mean? Like, you know, but I had to just like look at this and just be like, what the fuck did we come out of? Where are we coming to? You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
We ran out of Juvenile Hall. We ran out from this fucking crazy lady. To what? To my fucking mom doing heroin? To scram, kid, get out of here? You're in the middle. We're in the middle of something, you know. It just fucking got me pissed, you know. It hurt me.
It hurt.
It hurt. That's the bottom line. I was really
painful.
just kind of like, why is my life the way it is? This is fucking bullshit. And it's those types of things that continue to like, they make you rougher and tougher and more like.
Build a wall around your heart. It's a heart
You're
wall.
putting
like,
concrete.
I have like, diamonds. Hardest substance, right? Hardest substance. Diamonds around it. Like, I don't know how. And then where'd you go? Like, did you just go to the street and say, this is it, I'm on my own from here?
And then the next thing you know, my brother and I got approached by some people that were like, hey, we like your guys' style, because we were always drug dealing in the neighborhood. You know, when we took care of we did a lot of things that you could be kind of like tapped on the back, you know, like, hey man, good job or whatever. So they knew that we were not afraid of a lot of things. But they weren't gang members, the people who approached us. And they said, we have something for you if you're interested. So we said, sure. And then they kind of opened up their operation to want to work for us and do this. So and then we understood what we were asked, and they said, well, go do this first job. And the first job was simply following directions. Here's a Thomas guide. here's the car, here's money, and this is what I need you to do. And it was simple. It was go pick up some mannitol, so some Super B. These are all you cut drugs with those powders.
Okay, I was just gonna ask.
And and you got to go to these back shops. There's a business and then there's the back shop. What do they call it? Head shops or whatever.
Yeah.
Back in the days.
Yeah.
And then come back. So that took us a few hours. You got to understand real quick how to read a Thomas guide, and that was and then boom, where we went, we picked up the stuff, picked up everything. I was just happy to follow directions and to get it right. I just want to get it right. And then coming back, and then boom, good, you guys did what we asked. Now, then they'll pull out like a pound of stuff, and then show us how to break it up, show us how to add, show us how to mix it, so it has to be mixed thoroughly, like evenly, and then show us how to put it back together. And then that was it. Shook our hands, gave us $3,000 a piece, and see you tomorrow. And then at 18 years old, I got busted.
For that? While you were working at that same place?
Like about a key or a couple pounds of meth.
Okay.
It was coming up from down south. I got busted in the San Clemente checkpoint, at the immigration checkpoint. Mm-hmm. It was stupid, the little kid with, 18 years old with a couple of my homeboys in the car, no license. I didn't have a license. Searched my car, and make a long story short, they found everything, and so I might as well just do it right now and get it over with, and then send my guys home. And that's what happened. So I get 2 years, go to prison.
Just like that, they just sent your guys home. You signed, boom.
Well, they say, give us the, they try to tell you to snitch and all this other stuff. You're like, whatever. Nope,
right.
It ain't gonna happen. You sign. And then my boss said, what the fuck were you thinking to ever sign anything? You never do no shit like that. He goes, you're never going to do time when you're with us. We have lawyers. We're ready.
Maybe
and I said, okay. There'll be a next time that we're going to bump into the law.
They should have that in your training manual up front.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, you're in. Now I'm in prison, which is like a doctor going to medical school, or a wannabe doctor. He wants to be a doctor, and he's going to medical school. I'm a drug dealer that's going in at a very young age and a very young career in this.
Yeah.
And then I went to a university, and then you if you're smart, you'll learn. You'll pick up conversations. You start networking. You start paying attention, and then you create the network that you need when you get out. And that's what happened. And then with all the schooling that I got about prison and stuff, it was actually pretty easy. I was selling drugs in there. I ended up meeting some dudes. And
how do you get them in the prison?
There's so many ways.
I know, but how? What is it?
Well,
Mail
so
guy,
one of them,
the guards.
Yeah, sometimes it's the guards. Sometimes it's the clothes. Sometimes it's the food. Sometimes it's just a passing in visiting,
How
and
does
you
it
shove
get
it up your
in the
butt.
doors, though? I know, but who's bringing it?
Everybody's bringing it.
All the workers? Because the people in prison can't bring it. They have to be handed.
Bullshit.
Visitors bring it?
Yeah, everybody brings it.
So you get out of prison. Did you go back more than once?
Nope. Thank God.
Really?
Well, I went back and was in, so, when I was, told, like, don't you ever do that. This is how you're going to act to everything that you do. And you realize the power of money, the power of a good defense, lawyers and all. And then you get busted again. You shut the fuck up. You let your lawyer do his or her job, and you're out.
Don't go to prison. Right.
You're out. You don't tell cops shit, never. You don't say, sign here, fuck you. Have my lawyer sign it. And then you just learn a new system, a privilege system, you could say.
Yes.
But this is a world, as, how could I say, I don't know, as a regular person.
As normal.
As normal as it is for a regular person to deal with what they deal with in their profession and know how to get out of, troubleshoot, delegate, mitigate, there are certain things
Yeah, it's
to
real...
get where you need to go. I have to do the same thing. It's the same thought process, it's just different worlds. You would say it's crazy. I would say it's normal.
I think it's crazy that it's not talked about more. So I walk into the happiest place ever. It's like Homeboy's industry. It's so full of love that it's unbelievable. And so that's where I meet you. And yeah, I know, and I've been so lucky to have a couple conversations with people there who are so humble, yet their stories are the most fascinating folks that I've met. And, that's the crazy part, is to now know, like, your beginnings were set up for you to have a lot of obstacles for you to get to where you are. Like, you had to navigate like a pinball machine, kind of, to bounce, and then, in the end, your heart wins. You found, and I don't know how old you are. I've read all your notes, but at 24, what happens at 24 that makes you go, I see a different path, or I can see myself taking other steps?
24, 25, being, like, live, like, so many lives by that time. You think, like, shit, I should have been dead so many times. Here I am. And then just really just contemplating on life. Like, what the fuck happened to me? Why am I in this? And then, just that quiet time of really, really just digging into my history. What happened? Like, I know what happened, when I woke up and at around 5 years old and seen my mom getting her ass kicked by her fucking boyfriend. And I know all that. But what happened before that? What led us to this? And you look at the generational gang members, my grandfather being a gang member, my father being a gang member, myself. And then on my mom's side is like my grandmother, being left with 13 kids, and having just left by her husband, and then having to get government assistance, and moving to a government housing with the projects. And she still has to maintain her dignity by having a couple of jobs and everything. And that's where my mom was neglected. And that's how she felt when she did drugs, that she felt like whole, or whatever fuck she filled whatever void that she was, didn't have. So you just start to connect the dots, and you're like, and then here I am. Hold on. That means if I stay a gang member, if I stay doing this shit, my kids are going to fucking go through the same thing. This will keep on going. This curse could keep on going forever. Something has to stop. I don't know how to do it. But something definitely has to stop. And I had gotten a book by a dude from the project. His name was Martin Cruz. He's a good friend of mine. Well, I say he's a good friend. I haven't talked to him in years, this bastard. But it's my fault that I haven't called him.
Yeah.
But he bumped into me out of nowhere and gave me this book called The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. It's about thinking. I devoured that book, and I continue to devour it today. And then I started to think, to monitor my thoughts. If that's the case, that my thoughts create my world, then let's think about it. Let's think about my thoughts. What was I thinking about at this age? What was influencing me? So we look at gangster movies. We listen to gangster rap when NWA just started, and we think of, and then the amount of pain that I carried in my heart, and of neglect and everything else that I had gone through, and then you're like fuck this world, fuck this shit, and so you create a fucked up world. That makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense. So now that I'm starting to think about it, well, let me see, because this sucks. This is not helping me.
Right.
So let me monitor my thoughts now. Let me read more. And then, well, let me start to think of something that I want in my life. Well, stability would be nice. Just being able to work, have a place. I need to work on myself. Okay. well, how do I work on myself? And somebody suggested I go to Homeboy Industries. Fuck, Homeboy Industries. I remember meeting Father Greg when I was a kid in Juvenile Hall. Like, I remember Homeboy Industries.
Really?
Yeah. So I said, okay. So then I went to Homeboy Industries. All the stars start to align when you, I think, when we say the stars start to align, it could go negative or positive. But this time, it was for the positive.
Finally.
You know? Right.
You needed a star.
Big time.
You did.
Yeah, big time.
Shit.
So, at around that age, I was, and so I said this at...
Was your brother with you?
No.
Okay.
He's on his own journey. And at 25, I stopped drug dealing. I still had a stack of money, a stack of things that I could have done, and I did a lot of things legit. But I watched, this image comes to my mind of I had built a castle on sand, and the sand is gonna fucking just crumble, and my castle was gonna crumble, and it did. So, and I knew this. So I said, well, what am I gonna do now? I have money. I'm trying to build these legit businesses, and I don't know how to do it because I've never done anything legit in my life. Paying taxes and
Right.
all that stuff. So I was like, let me just fucking party. I partied until 30 years old. In the middle of that party, and I got that book. And then toward the ending of, when I came to Homeboys when I was 31 years old, at the ending of around 30 years old, I got the book. I did what I did to survive, worked in different things, and then I just started to think different. I was led to Homeboy Industries. I took a major pay cut from some other legit stuff that I was doing, because I felt like that was the right thing to do. Because I knew where I was before, I was too near the action, and I'm gonna jump in because I love making money. So let me just cut this completely off, sever it off.
Right.
I made $8 an hour at Homeboy Industries. I couldn't fucking believe I was gonna make.
And your heart was making $8,000 an hour.
Yeah, you tell that to my heart at that time. And then coming into this new life of coming into Homeboy Industries, $8 an hour, son. Father Greg telling me, and I'm thinking, fuck, that ain't shit, pops. You know what I mean? Like, fuck, But it was like God whispering, I could feed 8,000 with a couple of loaves of bread and a couple of fish. $8 an hour, don't worry about it. You're not going to be in luxury, but you will be taken care of.
Yeah, okay.
And I said, okay. I just said, okay. Look you're going to rent a room in a fucking house with all these people that, you know what I mean? I just said, okay. Just okay. I'll do it. And I did it. And I didn't starve. So it worked out. It started to work out. Again, continuing to read the book, continuing to learning how to think right, how to create abundance in my life, and then watching everything start to happen. I was at Homeboy Industries, and I was like, how do you guys make real money? Not legit. There's got to be another way. I'll stay here and make my $8 an hour.
Right.
But what do you guys do on the weekends? Because this ain't going to fucking cut it,
Is there something more?
And then there was guys who say, look, well, I go sell, soft drinks at the Coliseum and churros and this and that. I was like, sign me up. I want to go. And I went and I did it. And then I started networking, just kind of really just basically doing everything that I did with my drug thing, but in this. And next thing you know, I started building, a rapport with some of these guys. Yeah, I said, let me take over your business. I promise you I'll make you more money. So I started my own business. I was doing crepes. I bought all the equipment.
Really?
So I would do concerts. I was doing shit at Pebble Beach. And I was all over the place. I was making more money in a weekend than I would make 2 weeks at Homeboy Industries. But then that started to pull me, and then I felt like the conversation came back. It was like, hey, did you want help or did you just want money? Make a wise decision. And it was like, shit. No, I need help because I know me. I need more of what Homeboys has, because Homeboys has gold. It's not monetary. You can't go buy a house with it. It's gold for my soul, for me, for me to love me, and then be able to love my boys, and then that love is gonna travel to my family and my friends and people around me. It's almost like if it's prison as iron sharpens iron, but it's I know that's a bad one, but the world I come from, but it's just men and women that just iron sharpening iron. Let's get out of this shithole that we've been in, and we thought that was the coolest thing. It's not. It's fucking depleting us. It's ruining our kids. It's ruining our communities. Let's do something better with ourselves. Let's create abundance in our own lives. Let's fucking travel. I love my barrio. I love Ramona Gardens. I go there all the time, and I love
like
to
macaroni
leave.
and cheese, huh? To go back to your old comfort food.
Right.
Yeah.
You could have your comfort food, and you can eat it, but you can't eat it all the time. You'll turn into a fucking slob.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you don't want that. But it's nice to go back to your old comfort food. But it's nice to go back to my neighborhood. Say what's up. Hey, boom, boom, boom. They see me on social media and stuff, and then I gotta go. This is not the end all right here, you guys. Even though a lot of people have died in there, they're from a youngster to an older person and died. Fuck that. There's a whole world out there. Like, Homeboy Industries has just changed everything. And I feel like I'm in a university in that place. Like, I'm studying us. I'm studying me first off, the first subject. And then I studied us as human beings, complex trauma. What are we carrying? What's the resilience like for, us, a person with parents that worked all their lives and you ended up getting into a gang, but they loved you, how quick you bounce back compared to the single parent, compared to the parent that fucking beat you, compared to the parent that molested you. What's the resilience like with each person? How do we give this
the levels
radical
of trauma too? Like, it could affect
exactly.
one person, same situation, completely different than the
Totally
next.
different. We're all different. I mean, we all want love. That's one thing that I can say that's the same. We all want to be loved. We want to love ourselves. We don't know how to do it, and we have to hold somebody's hand to walk through this. And we resist so much too. So much because everybody has let us the fuck down,
But people are welcome at Homeboys. I wanted to say any gang affiliation, but I would think even if it wasn't a gang affiliation, but it was someone that was in a life situation that
all are
need
welcome.
a lifeline. Yeah.
And all are going to come in. We are open for gang members. We help gang members from the streets coming out of prison that want to change their lives. We have, we don't have actual beds, but our place, we have our beds open for these brothers and sisters. Anybody could walk in and say, "Hey, I need a job." Cool. We have job developers who will help you get a job.
Tattoos removed.
Yeah. Hey, I need my tattoo removed. Boom. Go sign up for free tattoo removal. We'll take that shit off your face.
Best bagels in LA.
Then we got, our cafe, and people come in like, "Dude, I'm just hungry." Well, fuck, come on. Let's go get yourself something to drink real quick. Get you a coffee and a pastry, a bagel. We have the best coffee cake in Los Angeles, I think anywhere.
It's a really good bakery.
Yeah,
it's
it's pretty
ridiculous.
bomb.
It's so good.
I mean, when you come to Homeboys, you're going to leave with something. Even I watch people come in, sit in our lobby, and then I see them there a little too long, and I'm like, "Hey, get off the seat, go up to them. Can I help you with anything?" Like, I'm embarrassing them. "What the fuck? What do you, like, Hector, I talked to him already. What are you here for?" "Just to absorb what you guys have." "Oh, shit. Well, that's cool. Welcome."
That's what you feel like.
Nothing surprises.
Yeah.
Nothing
It's like, you ever
surprises
done
us.
anything that bad to
Yeah.
not be loved again or to not
Right.
be forgiven or accepted or find your way again? And the world needs more places like that. In general, like more people.
I mean, Father Greg, talks about love. He talks about, when we talk about God, so usually we would bring the subject up of God. Like, "Ooh, shit, God sent me on a good one on that one." He's like, "Whoa, whose God are you talking about?" Like, "Huh? Who?" You said, like, in other words, God punished you, right? "Well, yeah, because I was bad." It's like, I don't know what God you're talking about. God is too busy being in love with you to be disappointed in you. And when you hear that a few times and you accept that God is too busy being in love with you, he's too busy being in love with you to be disappointed in you. What God are you talking about? Because that's not the God that I serve. And then you're just like, oh, shoot, that's sick. You know what I mean? For a priest, a godly man, to say that,
yes, taking the fear.
Yeah,
Self
it's like
abuse.
I think that we put our own obstacle, but I don't think we put our own obstacles in front of us. We think we're not worthy. We think that we should be humble and our heads down or whatever. And it's like, nah, man, we need to be free. God wants to be happy.
Run for office.
Run for office.
I want anyone that hears this to really think about Homeboys if you make some sort of donation. 501(c), is it?
Yes.
A nonprofit? Listen, they're doing work, like I said, not for Instagram, but because the work that they do, they're too busy to worry about Instagram. They are like helping people. I've spent maybe 4 hours there, and most of it was on the sidewalk because we were in the pandemic. But you watched people walk in. You watched.
That's what when the pandemic hit, it was like the sidewalks are in the new lobby. Mm-hmm. Like those who are afraid of the virus, by all means, stay home. Mm-hmm. Those who want to be out there, because the flow is always going to come. Street people don't give a shit. They ain't got nothing else. They ain't got nowhere to go to hunker down. So we need to be here for each other. So mask up, do what you got to do, get your your little shot and all that good stuff. But we got to be here for each other. We're not going to shut our doors. Well, we did, but even...
Oh, you had to. I mean,
yeah, because we had to legally.
Yeah.
But there was still us, it was a team of us that said, nah, we're going to make care packages. The doors are all locked, but we're going to stand in the corner of where we're at, and we're going to say, hey, can I help you with anything? I got something for you. Here's a sweater, because remember it was cold.
Yeah.
People were coming out of the county jail with their paper suits. Here's a fish kit. You get yourself some shampoo and stuff, and go find a water faucet, dog. And Spencer, you came out of in the wrong time, dog. And but we'll do our best to help out. Here's a couple bucks in your pocket. Go get yourself something to eat. And then we ended up getting a lot of food donations, and so we started.
The sidewalk was one of the most happening spots. I spent like 5. Remember that? I didn't leave that day. Now I remember I came in and then I stood on the sidewalk forever. And then remember I went and hid something that was talking to the people by the fence and you came out and I was still there. I don't know if you remember that day. I kind of stalked for a little bit and then I had to well, I did. I'm in love with, you get in love with the energy. Like that's the monkey on your back. You walk in and you feel that love and support, even if it's not even directed at you, you can be a part of it.
Yeah. There's definitely an energy there. There's definitely a vibration that, some certain people are just so attracted. They're so and then, even the ones who resist, but always come back because it's the right energy that we always wanted. And so we come back, and it's, thank God it's like you, Stormy, could come and go. We ain't tripping. You're fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that gang member with all that stuff on his face and fucked up attitude, come here, dog. You're with us.
Yeah.
Don't leave. We got you. You're hooked on drugs. Don't trip. We'll get you into a rehab. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And if you're hungry, the red carpet is rolled out for those men and women.
That's the whole thing. In the whole world, we can tell ourselves no matter where we're born, no matter what blessings we get or don't get out of the gate, it's like we all tell ourselves we're all our own worst critics and that we're not worthy of that second chance or, I just, didn't make the right decision 5 years ago, so why am I worthy today? And I don't know the way out of that personally, but I know when I walked in Homeboys, it was the way the world should be on all levels of acceptance. No, you don't have to be abused by someone that's doing drugs and taking advantage of you. They have to be ready. But the idea of acceptance, regardless, and everyone I spoke to had their core was clear of what their purpose. I can't even describe it because it's an energy, not a moment that happens. It's literally an energy. So
And you get, so the energy and all that, but you get concrete things, education. If you don't have a GED or a high school diploma, let's help you get that. We have our curriculum, our education team that's ready to help you on any level. And more than likely, a lot of the people that get that first step out of the way go into community college. Another thing is, while you're dealing with all that, you're getting, if you're dealing with substance abuse, we have 12 classes, whether it be for alcohol, narcotics, or, just the gang-like mentality, whether Criminals and Gangs Anonymous. We have like 5 therapists on hand right there with their therapy rooms that'll take you in, and you have a therapist that's going to help you talk about this stuff, cry in that room, do what you got to do to get that shit out. And then you can start to heal from the pain and the stuff that you've been stuffing down all your life, and transmitting that pain to other people. Now you get to heal from that pain with the therapist. We have 2 lawyers on deck that'll help you in family court to get your kids back while you're now whole, and you want to be with your children, or dealing with parking tickets and the injustices of rental things that people just make you go through, and you think you got to deal with it. It's like, no, dog, you have a lawyer that will help you deal with stuff, and give you advice on any of the issues that you're dealing with. We have an art institutes where you can be able to go and express yourself, whether through music, through actual painting, poetry, creative writing, yoga and meditation. We have our cafe and our bakery where you can learn skills. We have solar panel installation and understanding all solar panel aspects of solar panel at the East LA Skills Center. We have a diner in City Hall. We get to travel with Father Greg whenever he does a talks. He always takes a couple homies with him. I'm at that point where I get to take homies with me. I've taken, my highlight was one of them was I took this kid to Sweden, and we met the Queen of Sweden with Javier starring, who's just an awesome dude, is a mediator, and he does so much.
That.
Yeah,
follow him on Instagram. He just came back from Jordan. I was like, you went on a trip. I asked Hector.
Yeah.
Went
Jordan
on a trip.
With Nexus. That was badass. I met with, Mark and Soraya, they live out of Tunisia, and just crazy story. Both, beautiful couple that are changing the world with world changers. So they met up in this, it's called MENA, Middle East, North Africa consortium of
alliance or something.
And we were going to meet in Tunisia, and then something happened with COVID, or some political things happened. So we ended up meeting up in Jordan. And it was just this beautiful network. I'm still with them today, doing other classes. And besides the conference, of just being in Jordan, the Middle East, and everyone telling you, don't go, it's
right, so scary.
It's scary and all that stuff. And I've heard that a million times, and I was like, okay, well, I'm going. So.
Was it scary?
Not at all, man. Just, they're such loving people. They're so happy that you came. They, I'm like, do I wear my, I love this, it's my T-shirt that I wear, and whenever I leave the country. Fabian de Bora is the executive director of the art institute that's connected to Homeboy Industries, and some of it art pieces his brother does. He silkscreen them on so there's this black T-shirt that I wear with Frida Kahlo, the Mexican artist, but she is in the drapery, if I don't know what the word is, of La Virgen de Guadalupe. So she looks like the Virgin Mary, and it's purple and red and beautiful. It's on black. It's just a beautiful, setting. And I was thinking, this is what I wear. I'm gonna wear it. So, I know I'm going into a Muslim country. Everyone's afraid, and then you get there, and people just look at you and they're like, "We were so glad you're here. Like, thank you for coming and not being afraid." And like, oh shit, everyone's telling me to be afraid. You're telling me like I'm thank you for not being afraid, like, And then you get
Right.
you just meet these most beautiful people, and they're they're Muslim and they're trying to plead with you like, hey, we love Jesus too, and I'm like, I'm not even tripping. I don't,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm thinking about that, but they're just like, hey, like, I think that you guys are taught to not like us and we're cool, and I'm like, no, I don't take that shit because they were taught to not like me, and I know I'm cool. You know what I mean? Like I'm cool. So it's just come on now, let's. And the food is great. The fucking beautiful red desert and the sunsets and
The culture.
it's just people just trying to make it, and we ended up from Amman to Aqaba and everything in between, Dead Sea and Wadi Rum and all these different spots that were just freaking amazing. And then you sprinkle the people that I was with. World, like, just beautiful people, like equal rights for people, women in different countries, and trying to get them and trying to renew nuclear energy in a safe way, and just creating commerce and just a bunch of great people.
And we gotta end our lunch. But I want to, on that note of what you were saying in the end, like, building that bridge. You think of baby Hector, little Hector, the 14-year-old guy that takes all those steps to navigate and get to all those different places and every single hurdle that had to happen in order for you to be standing in Jordan with a worldwide understanding about human spirit. I mean, think about that. Like, your ability to relate to every single person that walks in those doors, despite how many times humans let you down, it's beautiful. And that's where like your quote, one of his favorite quotes, yesterday was yesterday. I read that about you, and then I'll think it like yesterday was yesterday. I'm not going to do that to myself because that was yesterday. Even on the smallest, like, self-abusive things that we do in our own heads, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I should get up. Even those little things aren't that healthy. But no matter where you stand, no matter what you're up against, and not just you, but, many like you that go through Homeboys, is like you may not always have a choice, but eventually if you just kind of survive. Maybe, at the end there is that one moment, that one light that then takes you on a world tour.
There's hope.
There's
hope, and you come in with a survival mentality. You come out with thriving, with like saying, like, no, I survived. That's done. Like, there's enough. It's just, now let's live. Let's live in abundance. And that's one thing that I want people to say, like, to know, is like, there's enough for everybody. We don't need to have that, survival mentality that would make you do things that.
There's enough for everybody.
Yeah, there's enough.
I hope you run for office someday. That's how you lead. You lead by doing exactly what you did.
That's cool. Thanks.
Want to go to dinner now?
Hell yeah, let's do this.
We're doing dinner. That was the best, dude. We're doing it again.